Hello friends, hope you're doing good. I welcome you all to this 22nd session of our Excel Functions series. In this session, we will cover few more important date functions. In the list presented, the green colored functions are covered in our earlier sessions. One can refer to the Excel Functions series playlist for accessing these sessions. The function in the blue box, which are Network Days and Network Days International, will be discussed in this session. So let us now start the session with discussion on the function description for the mentioned functions. Starting with Network Days. It returns the number of whole working days between two dates. Moving to Network Days International, it returns the number of whole work days between two dates with custom weekend parameters. Let us now understand the working of these functions with the help of example. The use case which we are considering is the product replenishment process, where the retailer places an order to the wholesaler. The wholesaler, in response, sends the products to the retailer for the order fulfillment. Since we now understand the use case, let us talk about the data which we will be using to understand the working of Network Days function. Here we can see that for each product ID, product category, date of order placement, and agreed SLA has been captured. With the help of date of order placement and agreed SLA in our previous session, we have derived the expected date of batch delivery. In this session, we have one additional parameter available with us, that is actual date of batch delivery. So in the last session, we calculated the expected date of batch delivery, and in this session we also have the actual date of batch delivery. We will use this data to understand the delay in delivery using the Network Days function and the Network Days.international function. Let us now move to our Excel sheet for some hands-on. So we have the expected date of batch delivery and the actual date of batch delivery. It can be easily observed here that for most of the scenarios, the expected date of batch delivery is not met, and the actual date of batch delivery is greater than the expected date of batch delivery. To highlight the concern to Mr. Sham, who is our wholesaler, Mr. Ram, the retailer, calculates the delay in delivery by using Network Days function. The Network Days function calculates the number of days present between two given dates. It is inclusive of start date and end date. To apply the Network Days function, select the cell, enter equal to, and then enter the function name, which in our case is Network Days, then pass the mandatory argument. The first mandatory argument here is the start date, which is our expected date of batch delivery, and then the second mandatory argument is the end date, which is our actual date of batch delivery. Remember, we want to calculate the delay in delivery, for which the start time would be expected date and the actual date will be when the products are actually delivered to a retailer. So let us first see what output do we get if we simply apply the Network Days function. It is giving us an output of 3 days. And how is this 3 days calculated? We will start from 10th and end at 12th. So 10th is Monday, 10th, then 11th, and then 12th. 3 days. This is how the output came out to be 3 days, because the start date and the end date both are inclusive. Now, if I want not to consider the start date and only consider the next and next to next date, I can simply do that by subtracting it from -1. This gives me a real picture for the delay in delivery. On similar lines, let us calculate the delay in delivery for product ID 1017. Here the expected date of batch delivery and the actual date of batch delivery is the same. Since both the dates are same, their difference would come out to be 0. Hence, we can say that network days function should give 0 output here as there is no delay. But network days function would consider 10th November 2025 as its first day. Since it is not to be counted, hence we have updated the network days formula here, and the output of the network days function is subtracted by 1. Now it is giving us a real picture of 0 delay in delivery. It also matches with what we want. If the expected date of batch delivery, if by the expected date of batch delivery an actual product is delivered, then it should not be considered for delay. On similar lines, this can actually create problem as shown here in the scenarios where both the start date and end date are weekends. 8th November and 9th November 2025 come on a Saturday and then Sunday. If we apply network days function here, following the same process, the network day would calculate the working days between 8/11 and 9/11. Both of these days are weekends, hence the output of network days function is coming out to be 0. And since we have updated the formula to subtract -1 with the output that we are getting from the network days function, the output shown here is -1 or negative. So we can say that in the case of holidays or weekends, output might give you some errors which can be corrected simply by adding an if condition. So here we are using the network days function inside an if condition. So our first condition is if network days comes out to be 0, then 0 should be our final output, and in case it is not 0, then network days -1 should be our output. We will now move towards our second function, which is NETWORKDAYS.INTL. The data shown here will help us in understanding the working of the NETWORKDAYS.INTL function. To apply NETWORKDAYS.INTL function, select the cell, enter equal to, and then enter the function name, which in our case is NETWORKDAYS.INTL. The working of NETWORKDAYS.INTL function is similar to the NETWORKDAYS function. The mandatory parameters are same for both the functions, which are the start date and the end date. Both has an option to include holidays, but in the case of NETWORKDAYS.INTL function, we get an option to customize our weekend. Whereas in the case of network days, Saturday and Sunday, only these 2 days are considered as weekend. Let us quickly see how the calculations work in the case of NETWORKDAYS.INTL. The expected date of delivery is given to us as 10th November 2025, which becomes our start date, and the actual date of delivery becomes our end date. We are also telling the NETWORKDAYS.INTL function that we will consider only Sunday as weekend, and days starting from Mondays till Saturday will be considered as work days. Now press enter to get the delay in delivery. It is coming out to be 3 days. Let us see how we are getting 3 as an output here. Starting from 10th till 12th, if we include the start date and end date along with the dates present between them, the output of 3 is the correct output of NETWORKDAYS.INTL function, as it contains count of all the dates present between two dates, and start date and end date also contributes to the count in the case of both network days and NETWORKDAYS.INTL function. Hence we are getting an output as 3 here, considering both the start date and the end date. But here an important point to understand is, if the expected date of batch delivery is 10th November 2025, then this date should not be considered, because anything which is delivered within or on the expected date of batch delivery will not be considered as delayed. To be considered as delayed, we should count only 11 and 12. Moving to the second example, which is for the product ID 1019, we can see here that the expected date of batch delivery is given to us as 11th November 2025, and the actual date of batch delivery is given to us as 15th November 2025. Let us quickly see these dates in our system calendar. We can see here that the expected date of batch delivery is 11th November 2025, and the actual date of batch delivery is 15th November 2025. When we will calculate the delay in delivery, the NETWORKDAYS.INTL function will include all the work days present in between 11th and 15th, and in the final count output they will also consider 11th and 15th as well. Hence our output, which is coming as 5 by just using NETWORKDAYS.international, is correct. But if we think from our use case, 11th should not have been counted, because any product which is delivered within the expected date of batch delivery will not be considered as delayed, and hence the counting of the delay in delivery should start from 12th, then 13th should be considered, 14th should be considered, 15th should be considered in our use case, as we are passing the weekend code as 11, which means we are only considering Sunday as our weekend. To adjust the function so as to get the correct count of days delayed, we can do this by subtracting the output from the NETWORKDAYS.INTL function by 1, and let us again see how our change has impacted. So quickly going to the calendar, our expected date of batch delivery is 10th November 2025. Our actual date of batch delivery is 12th November 2025. NETWORKDAYS.INTL function with these start and end dates is returning the value of delay in delivery as 3 days. If we subtract 1 from it to accommodate start date, we will get the correct answer, that is 2 days, 2 work days. Similarly, in the case of product ID 1019, the expected date of batch delivery is 11th November 2025, but again 11th should not be counted in the final output. So to remove its impact, we will subtract the final output of delay in delivery by 1 day. We can see that now we are getting the correct output. Now considering this example, which is product ID 1017, the expected date of delivery is 10th November 2025, and the actual date of delivery is 10th November 2005. Hence there is no delay, and this 0 comes out to be the correct output, but it has been achieved only after subtracting 1 from it, because 10th November 2025 itself is a work day. But since anything delivered within the expected date of batch delivery would not be considered, hence we are not considering the date 10th November 2025 in our final calculation, and hence the output should be 0. In the case of product ID 1018, where the expected date of batch delivery is 8th and actual date of batch delivery is 9. When we pass these two parameters to the NETWORKDAYS.INTL function, we see that the output which we are getting after adjusting 1 is 0. Let us see how are we getting this output. When we pass 8th November 2025 as our start date and 9th November 2025 as our end date, we can see here 8th is coming on Saturday, hence one work day would be considered for 8th. 9th is coming on Sunday, hence its impact will not be considered. So the product which was to be delivered on 8th November 2025 is delivered on 9th November 2025. As per calendar, we can see that 8th is a work day and 9th is a weekend. Hence, the actual number of work days as an output directly from NETWORKDAYS.INTL function would be 1. But since Saturday is our expected date of batch return, we will subtract the output by 1 to show that this is not being considered as delay. I hope you found this session helpful. If you have any questions, need further clarifications, or would like to share a feedback, please share the same in the comment section. We will meet again next week to learn some more Excel functions. I would like to thank you all for watching this video. Please like, subscribe and press the bell icon for future notifications.